Welcome viewer to this video where I'm going to talk about some of the new features of my indicators and their applications. The first thing to mention is the slope of nope, and that's these triangles, black ones on the screen right now. What the indicator does is it tries to find a short sample size, say less than 10, where the stochastic 20 sample stochastic K line or main line going from 80 to below 20 or the other way around. The reason why this one didn't qualify versus that one is the size. This was a compressed section, and what that section represents is an area of buying. Now let's talk about adjusting the slope, the expression, for a second. Picture a right angle. You can virtually see the vertical line and the horizontal axle, and so the left side is about 45 degrees from the vertical line, the vertical axle, and the right side is also 45 degrees. And adjusting the slope means that you're gonna end up with a shallow angle, say something like 15% here to the imaginary horizontal axle, which adjusts the upthrust. So this is the shallow compressed move down, and this is what comes out of it. So clearly you can see that what happened here at the Green River / Mr. Maroon was an accumulation, a buy that adjusted the slope, made it turn shallow, and you had the thrust up from out of it. Now what's the story with this one upside down? Well, you need to know the context, and the context in this case was a mean reversion in progress, and whoever did this move here, which was selling, and they probably based it on the presence of the lower guardrail in this chartreuse color, and so whoever went short here was pushed underwater for 3 thrusts to the upside, after which the price returned into the same zone, prompting yet another mean reversion signal, and whoever held through this 3 thrusts to the upside could have squared themselves out. Interestingly enough, it probably was the very same people who got it wrong here the first place, maybe it was intentional too, who ended up going long further down the road, and well, this one played out tremendously. So what can we say about these triangles? Well, we can say that these are areas of accumulation / selling, and what actually determines how it would play out is mainly the actual context, which would be a mean reversion in progress headed to 14, 16 and change. There is a key sentence to what the market does, and it goes like this: the market would run as hard as it can in one direction, only to reverse and start running in the opposite direction yet again as hard as it can. One chapter in my book is going to be talking about the market being a snow plow, and I did touch on this subject briefly before, and this white out box on the top is the snow barrier. The brown circles that look more like they mean to imitate bullseyes, but I didn't want the same image twice. So there's 2 rows of trees, tree trunks, and that's my measurement of market strength in a given direction. So for instance, here the market reaches the forest. So what do? You buy the pullback, and then what happens? There is a thrust that misses the forest, and the move could be over here, but it isn't, because they come in and buy it up yet again to make another run for it. And this very act of buying that adjusts the slope actually pushes the forest further out, and so the market is reaching for it and it's not capable of touching it again. And there's another RSI cross back down, which pushes the forest yet again out and out, and this is where we are right now. So let's look at the same image in terms of wave structure, and you can see that we have one full wave here with the closure going oversold, deeply oversold on RSI 2. There's the second wave that ended here, so virtually you can call this wave 1, you can call this one starting here going here wave 3, and interestingly enough the wave 5 happens to be the most powerful one of the 3, but at the same time it's the last thrust. It hasn't come all the way down to desirable closure, so it's open still. So one of the new things besides the forest is the outside hedge level, and that would be these white letter H's. Here is your example where the market turned. You ended up, let's get a different pointer. So you ended up touching the forest, and that means that the pullback was a sell, and that sell did not manage to surpass the previous swing low and got nowhere near the forest that was displaced by then. You probably had an accumulation here, which made it virtually impossible for it to break lower, and this was where the move up started. My mean reversion signal was a little bit late, you could say, but what would you have missed out on? Well, if you got the last value, then you missed out on 30-50 pips, but that didn't really matter, because from this point on you had 150 plus already. Now, to understand why I need that hedging line is that the forest gets pushed back, but sometimes the market would make a run for it, and this is most likely a wave 3 to the downside, and this is where you should have picked up a short hedge if you were long until this point. So that's like a last warning and basis for another hedging routine. I could mention about this X here, which basically tells you that this is not the low, and the way of knowing that is the other side too, flattening out, so you must have the undercut after that move. Let's go back a little bit further, and you get to see more of them triangles. And obviously this one was an area of sell, and so was this. Thank you for coming, thank you for watching. I'm going to make another hedging video probably next, and I'll see you in the next video.